Yo, what's up, y'all? Welcome to the show. I feel like it has been way too long since we kicked it. I know it's only been a couple weeks, but still, I missed you guys, and I can't wait to have some coffee and talk about some games. And today, we are talking about my most disappointing game of all time. Yo, that's right. I know that y'all have at least one game out there that has just totally broke your heart and just left a painful sore on your soul, and every time you look back at it you shed a tear. Yo, that game for me is Crysis 2. But before we jump in, yo, let's get that Joe. Yeah, you know, honestly, I was kind of avoiding the topic for a little bit because I just wanted to talk about something positive, but yo, Crytek is putting out a remastered version of Crysis 1. And it just seemed right because I saw some of the early trailer releases for PC of the remastered version, and it was really underwhelming, and I was also really concerned for a couple other reasons. So let's dive in and talk about why Crysis 2 is my most disappointing game of all time. And to do that, come on, Morty, we've got to take a trip through time back to 2007. Crysis 1 released, and yo, the hype was real. It was the time in the industry when game developers were really pushing the boundaries in terms of innovation and new tech that they were using in the development of their games, and it was all just super exciting, especially for Crytek and Crysis, because they used a ton of new shit that we had never seen before. And the couple years before that, I had actually taken a break from gaming because I was so focused on my music career, putting out albums and touring, that I just didn't have the time or energy to even focus on games at all. But yo, when I finally started to hear what Crytek was doing with Crysis, it pulled me back in. Get over here! I started to see some of the tech demo presentations they were putting out for the development of Crysis and some of the press releases for their new Cry engine. And you guys, it was just mind-blowing shit. So as I creeped slowly towards 2007, Crysis and Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl were just sucking me back in to the gaming world. And look, if you've heard or know anything about Crysis, you at least know about its reputation for its absolutely gorgeous graphics. But that is not all. There is so much more. Real-time procedural rendering, large-scale pixel shading, innovative gameplay mechanics, absolutely killer physics, beautiful graphics, and the technology that would lead to the effects that we know of today as tessellation. Man, it brought me back. And when I got back into the game, there was no turning back. I became completely absorbed by it. I was just obsessed and in love with it. I wanted to grok it. I was modding it. I was tweaking the config files. I was overclocking my gear and pushing my hardware to the furthest I possibly could. Blue screening my rig. Oh, it was just a crazy ass experiment, and I loved every second of it. Woo! Yo, I'm getting it all hot as hell up in my studio. So here's what I want to do. I want to jump into both Crysis 1 and Crysis 2 and just play a little bit of the game so I can talk about each aspect and why Crysis 2 is my most disappointing game of all time. So I'm gonna quit my bullshit in here. Let's jump into the game and get it on. Cheers, you guys. Here we are. I've got Crysis all booted up, and I have a save in Crysis 1 and Crysis 2, where I think it'll allow me to showcase all the things that I loved about the first one and how I think they shit all over all that stuff in the second one and completely ruined the game for me, unfortunately. We are playing on a completely clean version. There's no mods. I haven't tweaked any of the config files. Okay, so let's jump right in, and the first spot that I saved was right after you get past the tutorial section in the very beginning, where it opens up to present you with Lingshan Island. It's an absolutely beautiful spot and has a nice little sleigh area to kill some bitches, where I can showcase some of the mechanics and how cool this game is. All right, so let's talk about the visuals, of course, first, because look at this, guys. Oh, it's absolutely gorgeous. Just beautiful.
We spotted KPA patrols down on the beach. Use your binocs to tag them before you run in blind.
I mean, just look at this.
I see a large transmitting array.
Let's just get rid of this real quick. Okay. I mean, this is a 13-year-old game, you guys. Most games that come out today. Well, there's that, our jet, right on time every time, right? And yo, how many times have we all just stopped and sat here for a second and looked at this? Oh, it's gorgeous. You know, 13 years ago, most games that come out today don't look this good. This is absolutely gorgeous. You know, you've got a ton of foliage that looks really nice. You know, thin, crisp blades of grass, different bushes and flowers, all, you know, just really nice, small, crisp leaves blowing in the wind, larger plants. I mean, since these guys did, you know, Far Cry, you know, I think that they, of course, had the experience to do this, but how does this game hold up after so long, you know, and be so beautiful? Most games don't look this good, and you know, you can interact with all the foliage. Walking through it. Have some really immersive moments, you know, just being crouched and moving through, slowly approaching an enemy bitch to slay. And if we move back here, just look how full and lush. You know, they did a great job creating the levels so that it doesn't feel like you're in a video game. Like there's no edges where, you know, it looks like, oh yeah, look at the textures meet a completely different surface and it just doesn't look real. You know, they've just made it so it looks like a real place, and it's an immersive experience. Totally beautiful.
Nomad, we're blind here until you find that jammer.
Okay, next up is the lighting. And here we've got just awesome God rays, you know, going through the trees. We've got light that will project through the plants. It's not at the moment, but once the light hits it and interacts with it, you can see it kind of, you know, glowing, being a little translucent. All of the foliage I mentioned is physics-based, so all the trees you can destroy. Totally awesome. And the textures are awesome. Definitely, you know, some aren't. The trees definitely, and rocks in certain places have aged a little bit, but how many games these days don't have good textures? Or, you know, they create it with an artistic style, you know, and get away with it, you know, just looking like some cartoony bullshit. Ugh. When you look at this, though, it's like, that is some detail. Things in the distance look really good as well. I mean, just overall, the shadows are good. Am I on speed mode? Yeah. All the shadows are really nice. Let's there goes the shadow of the tree. Just so good. So, I mean, it built its reputation off of being gorgeous, and it completely earns it. And after a decade plus, coming back in here and seeing this maxed out is still jaw-dropping. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so that's enough about the visuals. Let's talk about the mechanics. The first thing I want to highlight is that there's no unlocking. Yeah, Prophet's going to keep interrupting us until we go and do his bullshit. So there's no unlocking or upgrading. You do get weapons later on that are cooler, but pretty quickly, like, you can dual wield and you can go in and mod your weapon. So, you know, go from iron sights to reflex, and you get other attachments later on. But you can still go in right from the beginning of the game and add on different tack attachments like a flashlight or a laser, change your muzzle from a silencer to not having anything. So right away, you get in and you get what the game's going to offer you. No bullshit. I love that. Mechanics for the player. Leaning, standing, leaning, crouched, leaning, prone, and even cool animations while you're prone, seeing your hands move. It's just, the attention to detail is just so awesome. And look, I'm just going to get this out of the way, okay? What a lot of games these days do are what I call positional peeking. You know what I'm talking about? Where, like, you go up to a ledge and you press a button and your guy will just kind of peek a little bit, but you can't move or else it'll break the peek. That is not lean, okay? This is lean. Being able to move and strafe side to side and lean, okay? Being able to move forward and lean and crouch and lean, move backwards and lean. That's leaning. I want to be able to lean wherever and whenever I want. It makes the game more immersive. It's fun to do. It allows you to play stealthy, or it allows you to get that headshot sometimes when you're low health, but you still want to be engaged and not just sit there and hide around the corner. It's an awesome mechanic, and I'm really going to bitch about this now and try to not bitch so much about it later, because I hate that they took it out. And I'm not going to focus on entirely what they don't have in Crysis 2 in here. I want to showcase what this has. Okay, let's talk about the nanosuit. You've got 4 different modes. The default mode is armor mode. Armor mode reduces damage from bullets and explosions, and you move a little bit slower, but it recharges your nanosuit energy faster. So that's armor mode. You've also got speed mode. Speed mode is cool. It's actually one of my favorite modes. Running is about this fast, normally. If you engage speed mode, moving normally is as fast as running normally when it's not engaged. And then running when you're on speed mode is super fast. So this allows you to get from cover to cover faster. You can run past enemies and it will stun them for a second, which is cool. It also allows you to jump really large gaps. So if you get up to a rooftop and you want to jump from one rooftop to the other, you can do that in speed mode. You can always also use it in combination with others if you manage your energy right. So speed up behind a character and then go to strength mode, grab them, throw them for the kill with strength mode engaged. Badass. Okay, let's talk about strength mode. Strength mode allows you to pick up things and throw them farther, throw grenades farther, melee through destructible walls, and jump higher. So jumping normally looks like this. Jumping with strength mode on looks like this. So you can jump onto a rooftop, which is awesome. And then lastly, we've got cloak, which just, for the most part, makes you invisible. If you get really close to an enemy or make any noise, they will see you, but it, for the most part, allows you to move around invisible. Okay, so those are all the different modes of the nanosuit. Let's go ahead and jump down and show some of it off. Let's go cloak, and got a Korean gunship. There is our communication jammer that Prophet's crying about. So let's get down there and get it on.
Maximum speed. Maximum armor. Cloak engaged.
Some chickens. Let's get in here and take care of this thing that Prophet's crying about, and then we'll...
Good job. Attack system back online. Proceed to the LZ.
Maximum speed.
Alright, let's just kill everybody, huh?
Cloak engaged. Maximum armor.
Probably get that gunship here in a second. Oh, I'm almost out of ammo. I know there's ammo in here. I know where everything's at. There we go. And we got dual wielding with the pistols. Isn't that just rad? We're not even 30 minutes into the game, and you get all this shit. We've killed everybody. No reinforcements were called. And I don't see the gunship. So let's just show some of this stuff off here. First thing is strength. Well, actually, let's throwing it without strength. Looks like that. Throwing it with strength looks like this. And rolling into the water, explode. There we go. Let's check out some of the physics. Blowing up a barrel. So you've got destructible crates, you've got destructible, or barrels at least that can get impacted by it. Every single board on the fence can get destroyed. Let's go into strength mode. You know? Because they didn't need this hut anymore anyway, right? Uh-oh, I'm out of strength. Here we go. Oh, and there's the gunship. Here we go. I know what to do. Come here. Come here. Now they won't shoot us. You won't sacrifice a chicken, will you? You will? I know you can't fly, but we're gonna give it a shot. You ready? Oh shit, I'm gonna die. Ultimately, what makes this game so interesting is the fact that you can be creative. You know, you can do all these different combinations of abilities, and let's see if we can speed jump this.
Maximum speed.
And it just allows you to create these moments that are totally unique to your game. I mean, look how far I jumped there. This is so damn cool.
Maximum strength. Engaged. Maximum strength.
Suit energy's low. Change to armor mode.
Come on, you dog!
Maximum speed.
Pray for a kick that, Yankee! Take cover! Reloading, cover me!
Ooh, grenades.
Take him out! Get down now! Over there! Fire! Take cover! Yankee power! Spread out! I kill you!
Okay.
Maximum strength.
Switch to armor mode and find cover.
I'll kill you for fun!
I'll kill you for fun. Oh, all right. I think that's it, you guys. I've shown off everything that I wanted to. Let's jump into Crysis 2. Here we go. I don't want to. One of the big changes that came to the Crysis franchise with Crysis 2 was the fact that it was no longer going to be a PC exclusive game. They were now developing the game for consoles as well. You know, and they would kind of hint at that and basically say like, hey, you know, to the PC community, like, don't worry, everything you love is still going to be there. And so you're going to see that when we jump in right now. So let's jump in. And we'll start at Road Rage, which is a little bit into the game. The tutorial is quite a bit longer in this, I think, because they're just kind of hand-holding the console players a little bit. And they're just shitty levels in the beginning, like just bad, super, you know, on rails, and, you know, just basically introducing you to every little thing. Okay, so let's go. Oh, hey, look at that. Nice. You know, let's start out the showcase with a floating blown up helicopter. That's lovely. Can we blow that out of the sky? Nope. Magic, guys. Pure magic. Oh, and I guess we can just take a quick second and look. We're playing, go to the advanced graphics. We're playing at everything completely maxed out except for disabled motion blur, of course. And what else do we do? We're at 1440p again, full screen, no VSync, DX11 enabled. So right away you can just see, like, you know, the look of the game is super saturated. Oh, here we go. Let's take care of this guy. This is actually one cool thing that they did add. They added in stealth kills. Neat. I'll give him, let's start by giving him a little bit of credit. We'll ignore the helicopter. So, I mean, right away, the game just looks really saturated, right? Like, I don't know. I guess the water looks okay. But it has way more of a cartoony look. The shading just isn't great. I mean, I don't know. You can still
shoot some of the trees down. That's nice. But overall, like, physics-wise and foliage-wise, I know we're in New York, but still, it's just doesn't capture the same vibe. And it's just way more cartoony and doesn't feel good. It's like, I don't know, look at these bricks. They're so damn saturated. You know what I mean? Here's another thing they added. The power kick. Yes. Yippity-doo. But see, I don't know. That looks just horrible. Look at that shit. You don't see this kind of garbage anywhere in Crysis 1 or Warhead. Just trash. Totally maxed out. Shadows don't look great. I don't know. The curb. The textures everywhere are just really poor. So, in general, they still have nice God rays. That's nice. But in general, doesn't look great. It looks like it's made for a console, which it was. And is real sad, you know? I mean, look at that. Ugh. Just... like, you would expect this to be made in 2007 and Crysis 1 to be made in 2011. But it's the opposite, you know? And they just let shit like that fly. Like, you don't see that kind of garbage like this. You don't see that garbage anywhere in Crysis or Warhead. It's just horrible. Let's talk about the mechanics. There's no lean. And you can't do it here either. Where's there an area where you can do it? Oh, one of these probably. Oh, there we go. Okay. They call it lean over. There you go. Yeah. Guys, this isn't lean. This is positional peaking. Okay? It wants you to be right there. You can't do it right here. Can't lean right there. Why can't I lean right there? Nope, I gotta be right there. And then it sucks you right in up to it. You know, it's just like in Gears of War where you come up to a barricade and you go into cover mode. You know, they don't call that crouching. You're going into cover. Right? This is peeking. It's not leaning. You're not leaning anything. And there's no prone. You can't prone anywhere. And I've heard all the arguments like, oh, you don't need that in the game. It's like, it's not about that. It's a first-person game, you know, where you want the ability to have the freedom to be creative and play it and create your own experiences. And, you know, not every game has to have it. And some games, yeah, don't need it. But Crysis 1 and Warhead had it, and it was just intrinsically tied to the mechanics of it that, you know, I think that it absolutely needs to be in it. And this is just garbage anyway. Ugh. Let's talk about the nanosuit. Big disappointment with the nanosuit. Again, I think that they sacrificed a lot because they were, you know, trying to make it fit how many buttons were on a console controller. And sorry, console players, I don't give a shit. You need more buttons on your damn controllers. You can do it. Anybody can do it. Just put the buttons on the damn controllers. Some mechanical engineer can figure it out, all right? So you don't get armor, speed, strength, cloak anymore. You can only change to 2 different modes. Now the default mode, of course, is strength, and I think they call it strength and speed. That's the default mode. Yeah, that's just normal, right? This is just normal. But, and whenever you don't have any of the other 2 engaged, that's what you get. But it's not like it's a, you know, running drains your nanosuit energy, but there, you know, and you can jump, power jump, but that's it. You can't change back to it though. You just change off of the other 2. So really you have 2 options. You have armor mode, which really slows you down and makes your feet sounds like you're punching dough or something. It's weird. Did I already say the weapons sound like shit? Okay, so and then the other mode you get is cloak, and that's it. Gone is the speed mode, you know, and that speed mode was a huge differentiator in terms of the pacing and, you know, the dynamic of the nanosuit, because it gave you an option to make ground really fast. You could stun enemies. You could jump over wide gaps. You could get from cover to cover quickly without taking damage. It was super cool. And it made using going cloak, which is awesome. Going cloak is so fun. Sneaking up behind enemies and getting cloak kills, doing things stealth without getting seen and getting out in stealth. That's awesome. But when that's all there is, it just feels so gimmicky. Here's the other thing, the AI. The AI wasn't good in the original one. But in Crysis 2, they're all instantaneous. So I guess I could put it this way. The AI was just dumb enough in Crysis 1 and Warhead that you could have these moments that felt real. So let's say you came up on 3 enemies and you snuck past them, you grabbed one of them, you shot the other. The third guy would kind of react like, oh my god, what's happening? And it would give you a moment to switch to strength and throw the enemy that you were holding into him to kill them both. And then you've killed all 3 guys. So there were these moments where, there was just enough space to breathe where you could react before they started all shooting at you. In Crysis 2, however, if you come into an area and you get seen by one enemy, all enemies in the area instantly react and know exactly where you are. And it just feels horrible. Oh, and here we go. Oh, I hate this shit. Press F to look. Okay. Just in case you miss it. There it is. Gotta look right. Like, where else would you be looking right now? Like, you'd be walking backwards? Oh, man. Just dumb shit, you guys. Not to mention every level is just... It's a corridor. So it's so smoky out. This is what it's like in Washington right now from all the fire smoke. I can't escape it. All right. Well, let's go cloaked.
Hanging in there? Look, there's a cell checkpoint up ahead.
Cool. Yeah, you guys keep doing that. And the nanosuit just talks to you. It's like, yeah, tactical options available. Like, treats you like an idiot. Let's resupply. Oh, here we go. We got another scope. That's cool. Let's see what we can do with it. No, that didn't kill you. The aim down sensitivity is garbage.
No contact. All clear. All clear over here.
Roger. Return to your
Oh yeah, they're... Oh, return to your positions. It's just so stupid. They're like... Now that I've cloaked, they... Can we power kick this car? Gotta be in the exact spot, guys. Oh, got him. Whoa, what the hell? Okay. You know, that's pretty much how I feel about the game. Sucks.
All right, you guys, now that we have taken a side-by-side comparison look at Crysis and Crysis 2, I hope you can see some of the major differences that, for me, had a significant impact on the overall experience. Everything from the graphics becoming way more saturated and cartoony looking with lower textures, the mechanics becoming more basic, the nanosuit getting downgraded and losing the speed ability altogether, the physics, there's just a ton of physics missing where you used to have tons of destructible environments and now there's just a tree every once in a while that you can shoot down, the levels becoming more simple where they used to open up nice and wide so you just had this massive sandbox to play around in and then it closed in for narrative's sake at the very end, just became corridor linear Call of Duty hand-holdy bullshit. And then of course there's the addition to upgrades and unlocks where you don't just get all the gear that you might actually have and you have to find and collect things to upgrade your nanosuit that just makes it OP, and the bad AI. And look, you guys, if someone had just jumped in and played Crysis 2 without any experience with Crysis, Warhead, or Crysis Wars, they might come in with this fresh perspective and nothing to compare it against. It's not that it actually looks like shit. Crysis 2 is a beautiful game. And it's not that it plays like shit either. On its own, if it were branded as its own thing, I think it would really fit well into the Call of Duty type of first-person shooter. Next to Crysis 1 and Warhead, it is a complete betrayal of what the franchise set up. It became an expectation of the brand. And personally, I don't know, I'm sure there's other people that really enjoyed Crysis 2 that also liked Crysis 1 and Warhead. But for me, my experience going from Crysis to Warhead to Crysis 2 was absolutely heartbreaking. Crysis 1 was one of the main reasons that I was drawn back to PC gaming. It introduced new features and new tech that no game had ever had before. They established a huge fan base and an incredible community of modders that did some absolutely amazing work. And at its core, Crysis 1 provides a gameplay experience that has this freestyle approach by empowering the player with its mechanics, weapons, nanosuit abilities, sandbox levels in a sci-fi military themed world that for me just created this rich, immersive, fun gameplay. And going from that to Crysis 2, it just felt like an absolute money grab at the expense of everything that made Crysis great. I am super passionate about Crysis and I am not gonna apologize for it. It's how I feel, it's the experience I've had, and it's super relevant right now because Crytek is putting out Crysis 1 Remastered. Like I mentioned, I've already seen some of the early trailers that look underwhelming graphically, honestly. It looks like they're going for more of that saturated, cartoony look. And my bigger concern is that they're gonna continue to morph the game to be more like the console versions in 2 and 3. So time will tell, but I at least wanted to put this out now because I felt like it was a relevant conversation, and I really appreciate you guys hanging out and doing a deeper dive and a critical critique of the game, doing an A and B comparison. And if you stuck around this long, please leave a comment below. I would love to hear from you. What is your most disappointing game of all time? Leave that comment below. Let's rap about it. Boom! Thank you guys again for joining me. Next week we are doing a respawn event, so patrons, you guys got a survey coming out today. Keep an eye out for that. Contribute your feedback. We're gonna do raffles for free games, all that good shit that we normally do. If you're not a patron, please go check out my page below. I do some awesome shit with my patrons. We have a really good time. So keep an eye out for that. And I'm working on my Marvel Avengers review. Oh, guys.
It's gonna be bad.
Spoiler alert, it's gonna be bad. Let's kill this joke. And y'all know how we do. I will see you on the next Gurhm's Garage. GG.